Well, thank you all for being here. We have our first session in this breakout space, the Sandbox. Using the game Powwow Bound as a case study, our next speakers will share best practices for authentic community collaboration and outreach, along with some of the challenges and lessons learned along the way. Please give Angela Shi and Jacob Schwitzer a warm welcome for today's talk, Powwow Bound, Creating Through Collaboration.
Oh, I'm a little trapped by all these chairs. It's a little cordon of chairs right there. But hey, everyone. Thank you for being here with us bright and early today. Well, maybe not that early, but you know, it's nice to sleep until 11 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 a.m. But yeah, so this is our session. Next slide. Yeah, my name is Angelina Shi. I'm an interactive media producer at PBS Wisconsin. So that means I get to do all the fun stuff. And with me is...
Poso, Newiswin Jacob Schwitzer, and Nekewiswin Shawano, Wisconsin. Hello, my name is Jacob Schwitzer. I'm from Shawano, Wisconsin. I'm a first descendant of the Menominee Nation up there. I'm a game producer for Nebraska Public Media, and I'm very excited to be here with you all.
Yeah, so it's just a quick outline of what we're going to be talking about today. I'm not going to go in and read this point by point, because we'll be seeing this very shortly. Yeah, so over the course of 3 years, we created this game called Powwow Bound, a Menominee Homecoming. That was a collaboration between our two PBS stations. And I'll turn it over to Jacob, talk a little bit more about this game.
Yeah, so this game is entirely about developing an authentic experience that depicts Indigenous peoples so that, you know, we're not continuing to see dated stereotypical depictions of Indigenous folks in games. And to make sure that this experience was authentic, we wanted to set it at the annual contest powwow on the Menominee Reservation and digitally recreate that. And that way we could allow anyone of any background to experience the culture and traditions of the Menominee Indian tribe. For those of you who don't know where the Menominee Indian tribe are based out of, they are based out of Wisconsin. They are about 45 minutes west of Green Bay. Go Packers. I know that's controversial in New York, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no, so the tribe is one of two tribes that have always resided in Wisconsin. Being that we wanted to share that history with folks through a game, we wanted to make sure that we are authentically depicting the tribe in the game. And to do that, we had to develop it in service with and in collaboration with the community that was actually being shown. So through the game, we want players to gain an authentic understanding of Menominee culture and traditions. We want them to enjoy gameplay inspired by culture through mechanics developed with community stakeholders. And we want them to form deep connections to the characters through Indigenous storytelling. So to begin, we'll talk about the community connections. Like Angelina said, this game was developed by Nebraska Public Media and PBS Wisconsin. So to bring the teams together for the first time, we held a design charrette on the Menominee Reservation at our local tribal college, the College of Menominee Nation. And with that, we brought in our first community stakeholder, Justin Gauthier, who is our writer on the project. And together, the teams developed core concepts around the game that would help make sure that we were depicting the tribe as authentically as possible. To make sure that everybody on the team was also aware of what we were depicting, we had both teams come to the annual contest powwow for 3 years. The first 2 years were to experience the powwow, capture video and audio of the experience so that we could share it with our team members out in Nebraska who will be doing 3D modeling, programming, and game design, and make sure that it was being recreated faithfully. Yeah. We also made sure to bring Menominee community members on staff and make sure that they were integrated into key roles. So I'm guilty of being the first one. I'm the Menominee game designer and producer. I was full-time on staff. We had a Menominee writer, Justin Gauthier, who we contracted with to write the narrative. We had a Menominee character designer that we contracted with as well, and I will fully admit that is my twin brother, Nicholas, who has a background in 2D art, so he was perfect for creating our characters there. And the entire point was to make sure that we weren't designing with stereotypes there. And we also hired several Menominee voice actors, and those were Menominee language speakers, because we wanted to make sure that this game, players heard the Menominee language as it was spoken by our tribal people and hear the actual accents there. And that was session-based, so we wanted to make sure that everything and everyone was being paid for their roles. Additionally, to make sure that everything regarding culture and traditions was on the up and up, we hired a team of cultural advisors. This ranged from the arts of indigenous peoples, so like beadwork, woodland floral art and applique design, as well as our dances. So we had a women's traditional advisor and a women's fancy shawl advisor come on. We also wanted to make sure that the language was well represented in the story. So we hired on a Menominee language advisor, and she helped integrate language throughout our whole story. But yeah, so with bringing on all those Menominee people and having the backlog there and the background knowledge to create this game, we then moved into creating the actual assets of the game.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacob. Taking over from here to talk a little bit about the art of the game. So just as a little general context setter, the game is a sort of a stylized 3D art style. We determined that very early on. Moving on. So the environments in the game, we have two of them. One is a campsite by the on the family's lake lot, and the other one is the actual powwow grounds at the Woodland Bowl. So both of these locations are based off of real life places that exist on or near the actual reservation. And here you can see what the concept art, the powwow grounds of the powwow grounds. This is actually a very awesome space. It's a natural amphitheater out in the woods. You won't find anything quite like it. Here, for comparison, is the environment in the game versus the actual amphitheater, the actual powwow grounds in the on the reservation. We did a large part of all of those visits to the reservation was to make sure that we were accurately translating this space from real life into the game with a little bit of a 3D stylization, of course. Here I'm going to just show the character concept art for one of the characters in the game. So this is our mom character. Her name is Laura. Everyone say hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
This is her everyday outfit. However, Laura also has an additional set of another additional outfit that she appears in. This is her regalia. So Laura here is a woman's traditional dancer. You can see that we did design custom regalia for all of our characters who are dancers. So in case you're not familiar, regalia is something that is very unique to each individual. So we couldn't just take a photo of someone else's regalia and then digitally recreate it. That would have been inappropriate. So instead, we commissioned our dance advisors to help us design regalia for the characters, and our cultural advisor provided us with, to the left, these sort of applique patterns that we could use to on the regalia, because once again, applique patterns have meaning. A lot of them are unique to certain people, certain families, so once it would not have been appropriate for us to just take something that existed and copy it. So all of this was created specifically for the game, for these characters. Another part about dancing is the actual dance. So here we recorded our dance advisors dancing and then translated that into custom animations for the dance minigame. So this is a woman's fancy shawl dance. And I think moving on. Oh, you can watch the dance again. Great dance. Moving on, Jacob, talk more about gameplay.
Yeah, so not only were our cultural advisors and Menominee community members part of the art aspect of it, but they were also part of developing some of the gameplay here. Here you see two real world. Sounds good. Here you see two examples of real world experiences. So on the left, we have our moccasin game, and we have our dance advisor in full regalia. We had specifically our dance mini game make it into the final version of the game, but we had several concepts for indigenous inspired games, mini games that were also developed alongside this. So yeah, we started by developing one-page design documents. You as game developers likely know what those are. But yeah, we started simple and then continued to develop prototypes around these design documents moving forward. And with the dance minigame, we wanted to make sure that the dance moves reflected what was actually being done at the powwow and integrate the actual drum music into that experience. So yeah, here you see kind of the translation of our early prototypes into our final prototypes. Here you see our prototype for our dance minigame, which used asset store dance animations, and then the final version that now uses traditional dance moves and embeds traditional art in it as well. You can also see our photography system, which shows off a bit more of the Woodland Bowl space. But yeah, after developing all this gameplay with community members and developing the art, we eventually had a version of the game that was ready to be play tested. And we did several playtesting sessions outside of the Menominee community. But to make sure that we were getting feedback that specifically got to the heart of the culture and the depictions being shown here, we made sure to do actual community playtesting with Menominee peoples. So our first one that we did was at Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin, kind of down in the center of Wisconsin. We worked with their Native Association to host a small playtesting station with some college students. And one of the Menominee college students that was there, as soon as she saw our powwow ground, she's like, "Holy wow, that's where I dance!" She was very excited to see the depiction and the recreation of our tribal lands. And as soon as she saw that there was a dance mini game, she got her friends to come over and start trying to beat each other's scores in it. So that was very fun. We also hosted 3 days worth of play testing back at the College of Menominee Nation on the reservation. And we had community members come in and play test the game. We even had our Language Institute bring a bunch of their language students to kind of assess how the language was embedded into the story itself. So that was very nice, and I'm very grateful for the feedback. Everybody was very excited by the game. They were very happy to see it. One playtester even said, "I never thought I would see our powwow grounds replicated in this way. It feels very special to see this." So we knew that we were on the right track with our authentic depiction. So I mentioned that we went to the powwow 3 times. The last time, which would have been 1 year ago next weekend, we actually launched the game at the powwow. And that was very important because we wanted to make sure that the community had the first opportunity to see the game, to play the game, and see it in the same space that it was recreating. We had a lot of young kids at this powwow run up to our stand and keep coming back the entire weekend. They were very excited to see this game. A lot of young kids were saying, "Hey, that character looks like me," or "That character looks like my auntie," or say, "This is where my family sits in the Woodland Bowl," or even say, "This is where my family's food stand is." So it was very exciting for them to see their own home recreated in a digital space. The parents also loved seeing it. Again, in media, Indigenous people do not have often good depictions. They're often dated, they're often stereotypical, and that is something that they did not see in this game. They were very happy to see a modern depiction, an authentic depiction of the tribe, and see a positive representation of what our community looks like. Because for a lot of young Indigenous kids, and for a long time, there have been issues with self-image, especially with stereotypical depictions of Indigenous peoples as mascots and just in general. So they were very, very pleased to see a positive depiction. Yeah, they continued to be very excited by this, and as part of our work at PBS, we want to continue to promote this game to folks, especially our local communities, to show how this project can positively impact them. Um, so yeah, as our work in PBS continues, we have been taking the game into classes and doing demonstrations. We developed an educator's guide with this project. So we've been able to take it to teachers, show them how they can use it in their classroom, and continue to see the positive response from students and teachers in the community. So yeah, with developing this game, it has been a blast seeing the response from my community. But yeah, so to reflect on the presentation, especially when it comes towards collaborating with communities, you'll want to bring cultural experts in early to the development process. That was very helpful, especially from the art side and the game development side. And you want to make sure that you're compensating them for their knowledge. There is worth in that, and it should be treated with respect and honored in that way.
I will add on to this as well. I think this was alluded to, but having different advisors look over, honestly, like the same scene was actually very helpful. Our writer was Manami, and so but even then, we had our cultural advisor and our language advisor look over the writing as well, and they actually found some things that he hadn't considered, and that was something that most different people even in a same community have different lived experiences. They have different knowledges, so it's valuable to ask more than one person.
Yeah, it takes a village, and one person can't represent an entire community. So yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you. Again, when you're working with people outside your own culture, please be respectful when integrating them, and always trust the folks that you have there. Like Angelina said, it's good to get multiple perspectives, so be sure to trust whatever feedback you hear. And when you're developing with community in mind, you have to engage the community at every step of the process. Any opportunity that you can take, it is so helpful to get that feedback from external peoples and see how the response is. Angelina, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I don't have anything else to add. You can find the game on Steam. You can also find the game on PBS Wisconsin's website.
Yeah, just Google search Powwow Bound, and you will find it. Yeah. Also, if you're interested in playing it, I believe it's over in the arcade?
It is also in the arcade, so,
Yeah, so give that a shot.
Yeah. We have 2 minutes and 54 seconds and counting for questions.
So yeah, any questions?
Can fit a couple in if we're quick.
Yes.
Yes. I can probably just, okay, awesome. Question is about intended length of play and is it replayable?
So the average length of this game is anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. We did design it with potential classroom use in mind. And while this game is not inherently an educational game, it was made for general audiences. It does have educational components. So yeah, we wanted to make sure that educators could pick it up, drop it down whenever they wanted to. So yeah, the average session can be as short as they want or as long as they want. As for replayability, we have made sure that some of the mini games can be accessed at any time, replayed throughout the whole game. But Powwow Bound is a narrative-driven story. There are some offshoots in that narrative that you can hunt down, but the core story typically matches what you would play for each experience. So, yeah. Any additional questions?
Don't be shy, guys.
Yes. Absolutely. There we are. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the question is about our first major push out for testing, and what was like the big aha moment there for scenes that we need to change.
Yeah, Angelina, I'll delegate this one to you, but Angelina's our like lead play tester, so yeah, she's full of the knowledge on that.
Okay, early testing, one of the first things that we had sort of that was tested was the sort of introductory scene, sort of introducing the premise of the game. We tested that. A lot of our testers were non-indigenous folks, and we realized pretty quickly that a lot of them didn't really know what was going on. A lot of them didn't realize that they were going to a powwow at first. And then there was also questions about like, what is a powwow? So that was something that came up really quite early, and that turned into an interesting balancing act, I would say, because on one hand you want this sort of authentic experience, and there isn't really a lot of reason for someone who is familiar with that culture to say in dialogue, "Oh, I'm excited to go to the powwow," which is an event that we hold each year and do dances. So it was really about like figuring out like how to balance creating an authentic experience for those who were familiar with the culture versus those who we were trying to sort of teach about the culture. End up creating that is like one of the reasons why the glossary exists. The glossary also does exist for teachers as well.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a happy compromise there. We really reinforced the word powwow in there. I think we say it 3 times in that opening scene just to really get that in folks' minds. But yeah, the glossary helps. It also provides definitions of all the Menominee language in the game, as well as an audio component so people can hear that as they're playing the game. So, yeah.
I do think we are out of time. If anyone else has any other things they want to talk about with us, feel free to find us afterwards.
But otherwise, Machwawanan, thank you so much for coming here and listening to us talk. I'm very grateful that we get to share this with you all. Thank you.